spots everywhere.
So we always talk about Marvel and everything. Let's talk about some DC stuff.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've seen it, Will. I know Josh's seen it, but let's
And
talk
it's
about
And
Shazam.
it's available.
Haven't seen it
Okay,
yet.
we can watch some of it tonight. We can do highlights. I'll say this. Can I say something? Because I was
Do it.
the one that started watching it and was text you and was
You
like, okay,
you
it's
did
pretty
got
good,
me to
we can
watch
get
it.
down,
You
right?
texted
Are
me.
you
I was
sure
like,
it's
I'm
not
not.
a joke movie?
Hold on.
Because it looked like a joke
I'll
movie.
say this: if you're gonna, if we were gonna watch it tonight, right?
Mhm.
I would be like, take all full judgment in the first 20 minutes. Take your judgment of the movie in
Yeah.
the first 20 minutes and go, is there potential or isn't there? For me, that first 20 minutes was amazingly dope. You see a scene where it's like, you're like, wait, is
One
this...
scene really like highlights
It's like
the whole
right
movie.
away, the intro scene is like, is that Shazam? And you're like, oh no, he gets disappointed, and like it's not Shazam, and like,
Gotcha.
and then like it goes on, and you meet the kid who is Shazam, Billy or whatever
Billy
his name
Batson.
is,
Yeah.
Billy Batson, and
Billy.
he's just. Dude, he's such a good actor. He's such in the first
So,
20
kid
minutes
or
of
the
the
adult? Can I-
lines.
Can we just say spoilers and just talk about it?
Sure, I don't
Yeah.
care.
Okay.
Yeah, Will's gonna.
I've already know. I know his a little bit about his
I
lore.
when I
so-
when I
knows a
this is
lot.
what I did with Captain Marvel too. When I watched it, I wrote
I know he's like
down
an old man that gives his
questions and
power to other
everything.
people.
I did
I'm
what
gonna start doing that.
what
Good idea.
what I did mess up though is I wrote that on my phone, but I didn't write it down for the questions I wanted to ask for Captain Marvel or like talk about
Yeah.
some PowerPoints. So this is one of the things I wrote down. I mean, like Josh said, the acting was good. The kids were good. Like the kid
kids,
characters.
The kids.
Yeah.
That's
The
really
kids.
hard to do too in
The
superhero.
kids.
But you got to
Kids
know
are good.
the handicapped kid was the kid from It. He's one of the kids from It.
That makes sense.
So he's
That
got
makes
some
sense 'cause
chops.
It
Yeah.
was good.
He's got some
It was-
acting
I liked
experience.
it.
You know what's funny? He posted a video on Instagram of him smoking a fat ass blunt. Yeah, no, the kid from It, the handicapped kid.
He's all smoking
He
a
was
blunt.
like, and he posted on
He's like,
Instagram,
"Here goes my
and he got a bunch of
career."
shit for it because he was smoking weed.
Yeah,
But they're all just
Way
like,
to be a great example, kid.
It's not about that. It's
Go.
just public.
okay, so remember in the very beginning, the guy, the evil dude who gets the fucking eye
It's
with
about the kid.
no the other dude.
You're talking about
He
the
is
one
the kid at
with
the
eyes.
beginning,
Yes.
but he gets chosen, but he's too evil.
fails.
He
He fails.
because of the evil sins. You know about that, Will?
Okay, hold on. A little backstory here. So the original Shazam wizard, whatever his name is, I can't remember it. I'm not
Shazam.
gonna pretend to. I think there's a different name.
Going back to like the '60s. So
Anyways,
nobody's
so-
gonna blame you if you don't know.
I don't remember, yeah, but in the story that they portray in the movie, Shazam the wizard is looking for a replacement champion to be able to fight off the 7 deadly sins. right?
Gotcha.
So
okay.
he's been trying to recruit kids for years, hundreds of years,
Trying
and
to
everybody
find the right
fails.
person, yeah.
because they all succumb to the evil and the
The
voice
sins,
in their
yeah.
head of the sins. One kid comes in and he's like, "I think you're the one,"
Yeah.
But
and
he's
he
crazy.
Yeah.
is fucking crazy, right? And he totally succumbs to him. And by the end, when the wizard's like, "Nope, go," and he makes him go, the sin statues, the 7 sin statues, are like,
They
"Hey,
give him his powers pretty much.
they're like, you haven't found your champion, but we have found ours.
Yeah.
What can you say?"
Oh,
And
fuck.
then that scene's like,
So that guy
over.
becomes like Black Adam.
But
Yeah.
the sins
Black
the
Adam.
sins pretty much
Because isn't that his main villain?
yeah.
It is, but it's his most.
But hey,
important one.
the sins are pretty much just so they give them the powers. They're trying to make it so they manipulate any mortal to become Shazam. That's not the true Shazam. So pretty much they're trying to be like,
And
it's
the
like it's like
sins-
Satan trying to attain God's power.
And the way the sins came out originally,
It's kinda how
is
it's
that
portrayed.
in the past,
Even in
years
the
ago,
comics.
One of that circle of wizards or whatever that grant people the Shazam power, granted somebody a power that lost somebody, and instead of seeking justice, they seek revenge, and they release the 7
Yeah.
sins as revenge.
And then
So
you're talking about
now
the
the wizards are
wizard origin
responsible.
story, right? You're talking about
Yes,
the.
in
That's
the-
one
in
of the
the
things
story.
I thought the wizard
In the
origin story
movie.
was pretty sick. Like Josh just
Another,
said.
yeah, another 20-40 minutes, dude. The movie is amazing.
It
I was
is
like,
pretty
I
good.
really
What
liked
about-
it.
Dude, I
The
told
one
Ben,
thing-
I was texting, I was
I
blowing
saw it.
his phone up.
Dude,
I was
some
like,
stuff
dude,
about
I know. I was
love
kind of
this.
mad. I was kind of mad because he started watching it probably like a half hour, 45 minutes after me, and he was like, he texted something. We'll bring it up later, and I was like, thanks. No, I'm just kidding.
I do that. I have all
No,
that.
it's good. It's good.
forget
No,
everything.
because you were literally. You texted me you're watching it, and they're like, I was like, fuck, I should watch it now. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch
We
it.
literally watched it like 30
Synced
minutes
it up
ago.
together.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So what about the very that one part where the girl touched the door where he wrote all the symbols, and she was like, yeah, and turned into like fucking
Yeah.
dust.
Okay, so the kid who gets rejected, the evil kid he's like, oh, you might Shazam the wizard. We'll call him Shazam the wizard.
Oh, yeah,
I really want to search it, but we'll fix it.
Did you want to tell him the beginning, like how it all started? Because he remember.
Well, okay. So in the very beginning, he
kid fails, yeah.
He fails that mission.
But before that, like his dad.
His dad is an asshole. His dad is like, magic doesn't exist.
Okay,
You're
gotcha.
meant to be this. He's like horrible. Like
He's like the
choosing
orphan.
his future for him, basically.
He's like the orphan redhead child.
yeah. This other I don't remember what the villain's name is. Do you? So, and his dad is super abusive. His brothers works for his dad in the corporation, the same corporation. They're super rich, horrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't. Here we go, right here. Billy Batson. His name is Dr. Savannah.
Yeah.
Dr. Savannah. He's one of the lesser villains. It's still a big villain though. But so Dr. Savannah gets rejected by the wizard, and he just fucking he gets selected by the Seven Sins to be their champion. Like they instantly know, dude, this guy's gonna let us free, right? Well, that movie, it really does a good job of like jumping into why this dude hates this wizard and anything that comes from him so much.
Well, you're basically
what I
building
mean?
up the villain a little
Like
bit.
he said, building up the villain part. There's this solid 30.
It's like the first like 5-10 minutes of the film.
The first 5-10 minutes, undoubtedly, if you don't like that, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to hate the rest of the movie, guaranteed. But if you like that first 5-10 minutes of the movie, you're going to like probably the next 20 or 30 and be disappointed by the end. Especially the very end. And I'll wait
Yeah,
before we get there. So, we'll get there.
I was going to say that sounds kind of like Green Lantern's
Oh!
origin.
Oh, no.
Wow, that is kind of.
No,
No, I'm talking about how they build up the villain in that. How they kind of show him being kind of like a nerd, and he's not as cool as the main character.
Which Green? Are we talking about the movie or
Green Lantern.
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah,
Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds.
Reynolds.
Okay, you remember the nerdy scientist who gets
We're
the
probably
big
the only
head?
people on the internet that talk about this. But
Okay.
I know, right?
Ryan Reynolds is like, whoa, you're not supposed to talk about that. That's my past acting career.
Yeah.
But, okay, so they kind of build up the villain the
Hella
same way.
stigma built towards that
Because
movie.
remember, they show him like as a nerd, and he's doing good in his field, but his dad's like kind of disappointed in him because he's not like a fighter pilot, whatever, you know.
the nerd
he
with
can't
the big
stack
head.
up to to Ryan Reynolds, who's like a cooler
a great
character.
pilot.
He's a
fucking
cooler
amazing.
character.
He's a cool character. Thank you.
Right, he's got the leather jacket. He's a cool guy.
His dad was a badass
And he's got
pilot.
the hot girlfriend that
The
you
hot girl.
And then eventually he becomes the bad guy.
Well,
by the end of
he
the
never
movie.
had a hot girl. It just shows like a kid origin story. Like it just shows
I'm
him
just
as a
saying
kid.
Dies.
They do kind of build up the villain.
Well,
the
his
same
dad
way
doesn't
in
die.
that
He ends up killing his dad in the end because he's
Or
he doesn't kill his dad. He kills his
dad in
brother.
Green Lantern too.
Green Lantern.
Oh no, I'm talking about.
I know.
Okay,
in
okay.
Green Lantern, his dad dies in front of him. That's what he was talking
okay.
about. You're
It's not.
right,
It's not
right?
like that.
The
It's
villain
not
also
like
kills
that.
his dad. Remember?
He doesn't
It's
kill his dad
different.
in this one.
I'll agree, Ben. I'll agree with Ben. It's nothing like. It is like what you're saying.
Kind of, they build up the villain the same way.
Similar, but not as good. In Shazam, the first scene is this kid being totally verbally abused, and then all of a sudden he finds out, holy shit, I'm meant for great things. Psych. You're actually
Because he saw the 7 deadly. It's like a test. Like when you walk in, you see this. You're like, oh, you're meant for, like Josh said,
chamber,
you're made for great things.
killed
And then he
me.
hears the 7 deadly sins.
It's okay. It's just my phone.
I thought it was a beer.
He hears the 7 deadly sins, and he's like, oh yes. He goes towards more them than the actual.
wizard.
Yeah. So another thing I want to talk about is this movie was definitely made for this generation because they're making YouTube videos, and that's like probably like a good like 10 20 minutes
15, 20
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah, don't be shy.
where they're like oh, like how to fly.
Let me do that. Shazam is learning his powers.
Oh,
his little
this is in the trailer,
his adopted brother is recording YouTube footage of him getting famous off of him being this.
Throwing cars in a junkyard.
Okay, I think we left something out though. I think so we left out that Shazam is a kid that is from an orphanage that is looking for his mom.
He always is, yeah.
Yeah, and then
he's good at it.
He's living in a foster home, and at this point, he ended up getting chosen to be Shazam, and then he finds out he's Shazam, and then he confronts the fucking little kid, and after that they start making YouTube videos.
Finding out his powers.
Yes.
They don't know his powers.
Right,
the wizard dies in front of him, so he never learns what he's capable of.
Yeah.
Shazam never learns.
He just says, he's like, say my name.
So he doesn't know he can fly. He doesn't know that he can throw lightning bolts like Zeus. He doesn't know that all his powers
he has
are
all the
based
Greek
on all the
gods. Yeah.
Based on all the gods.
Strength of Hercules and all that.
Thank you. Verbatim. You haven't even watched the movie and they say that.
Well,
he
that's
says
that's a trope in all of his shit.
Good fucking call. Like
fast as Mercury, strong as Hercules.
Ben is talking about this.
The YouTube channels and stuff.
This is where the movie begins to go, and it's like
the quality.
It's just those. It's
like YouTube
scenes.
Uploading those scenes, and it's like scene and 1, test 1.
Adopted brothers, but her, and like there's just. Yeah,
we can cut this little part out, but you saw the Russian version where it was like written in Russian. Yeah. It was like test 1 or like.
And it was all in Russian.
Yeah. Okay, we'll cut that out. So so they do the little test, and they do that for the
We'll watch like 30 minutes of tonight, and you'll see what we mean by the 30. If it was a 30-minute movie, I guarantee you'd be like, oh, "What's the rest of it?" But watching the rest of it, you're like, "No, this is like every other Marvel movie."
So what are some things? Okay, so.
Remember, we still haven't talked about the end scene.
Okay.
So let's get there.
So I got a couple other questions. That batarang in the back of his head, though. Remember?
Okay, that was whack.
You didn't like that?
I didn't like that they did. Okay.
Wait, so who's?
Okay, wait.
I want to explain why it was whack.
Okay.
It was whack because of that last scene with the other character that we're not going to get to because we'll go shit. Okay. Right. So. We're not going to get there yet. We're not going to get what happens at the end.
Okay, not yet.
But
got it.
The batarang in the back of the head, what I found whack about it was that it was just this big deal. Just the same with this batarang was such a big deal, and we don't have a Batman yet. And forever when I watch this movie and people see that scene and I'm like, that scene was dope, it made me feel like Batman, I'll always remember that we had an okay Batman that a writer and director ruined, and they decided to go, okay, well, we're going to blame it on the actor. Let's change it out because he doesn't want to do it anymore because we decided to digitally
because he got hella fucking flack. Yeah, he got hella flack.
Superman's mustache.
Batman,
and a lot of bad Photoshop or editing.
Well, I was gonna say, could I tell you why I think I like? Well, not why I think I liked it. Why I liked it is because early in the film, the handicap, his brother showed him. He was like, "Oh, this is the official batarang that was used."
Yes.
And then he's like, later on in the film, he said, "You stole it," and he's like, "No, I didn't steal it." But then he becomes Shazam, and he kind of saves him with it, and he just like he throws the batarang at Shazam at that dude's head. That's why I liked it. But the way the way you pointed out, I could see why.
And another thing is just to like a counter, like a protest to your protest on that part. Is I want to say that another thing that kid, Shazam's adopted brother, finds, right, other than a batarang, is a bullet that Superman was shot with.
So it's like flattened.
It's flattened bullet, and he finds it, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
this
right.
Is another thing that kind
of they're setting something up.
It creates
might not happen.
No. It creates a rift between the two brothers, Shazam and the adopted brother. What Ben is saying, I love that he did that. Well, I'll tell you right now, you know what I would have loved to have seen? Is that, and this is a joke. I'm going to say this is a joke, and you guys might not get it right away. If the batarang throwing it at the dude's head, Shazam throwing the batarang at the dude's head and it cutting him, or his brother doing it, or whatever, I don't remember who did it.
It was Shazam.
It was Shazam.
Yeah.
And it cuts him, and he goes, oh, he's weak when the sins are out, right? He's weak when he doesn't have the power of the sins within him. Okay, that's dope, but that's the same thing as if he would have been like, okay, I stole the bullet, and now it's gonna end the movie, and he throws the bullet through the fucking guy's head, and it kills him.
Yeah, there was a lot of points where it was like
it would have been the same thing instead of the batarang.
They could have took a different road.
Yeah,
so
it would have been the same thing.
This is another thing.
Kid friendly though.
I'm definitely.
Saying, I know. It's a joke. It's a joke. If he would have instead thrown that bullet with his strength through his head, it would have been a scene of like.
Holy fuck. Like Man of Steel.
When Man of Steel snapped his neck. Now, this is... All I'm saying is, it's a joke. I'm just joking. I'm only joking.
No, I know. What I was going to say...
But I agree that the Easter egg they dropped there, fucking dope, because
you need to be less afraid of being dark.
What I was going to say has nothing to, like... It has nothing to, like, disagree or anything like that. What I wanted to tell the Will is the sidekick character, Shazam's, like, little kid friend.
Yeah.
He knew every superpower pretty much. He'd be like,
he's like an encyclopedia.
Exactly. And he'd be like, oh, you have super speed, superpower. Yeah, he was really fun. He was a good one.
He was kind of like
smoked a lot of weed. You could tell.
I think that he was a big highlight in that movie. But
he did really well.
But there were parts, what I said, where it was like. God, the YouTube stuff killed me.
Yeah.
And then and then I'll bring up another one. It was super cringe moment. # cringe. Like and then another one was.
It looked like it'd be a cringy movie.
How emotional those two got.
Yeah, they did get.
The fact that if they make a number 2, which with the track record this company is happening for making movies, let's be honest, we're not going to see another one. If they do,
well, we might get a second one. I hope so.
I hope so.
Is it going in the right direction? You think?
I wanted to see a Justice League 2.
Okay, we'll get there. Okay. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say?
For DC films, but with this movie,
a chance to fix it.
God, dude, the whole thing was about these two fucking little brothers.
Yeah.
That aren't even related. Fighting the whole time over powers.
It spent like a good half hour.
Yeah, it's like a half hour of these two bitching at each other. Oh, you have all the powers now, and I'm a handicapped
You're supposed to show up for lunch.
Yeah, and then the other one is like, well, I just want to find my mom, and I'm a selfish little shit who has to have my way, and I'm Shazam now, so now I'm gonna go on the street, and then that's scene when he is doing the sidewalk performance of his superpowers. I wanted to snap that fucking writer's neck.
That was pretty bad.
Like, dude,
super cringy.
Yeah.
It was the worst. It was Green Lantern. What you said, where it was like
I didn't think it was that bad.
It was him.
What about
roller coaster.
Okay, so he lived in a foster home. He lived
That's a really unpopular opinion, but I didn't mind that movie.
He lived in a foster home.
I'm a Ryan Reynolds fan.
He lived in a foster home with a bunch of people.
And the family is hella cool. The family off the bat, when the characters they build in that foster home, you're like,
by the way, the dad of the foster home is one of the guys from Walking Dead.
Yep.
Hey.
Can I point out one thing? I think from what you've described, it almost sounds like they should have done the version of Shazam where it's multiple kids.
Okay,
we'll get there.
Oh God,
so
is it good that?
I have one thing to say. I have one problem that really fucking bugged me and irked me. There's the younger kid on that. There's a younger girl that's supposed to be like 8 or something, and
the black girl.
Yeah, she was so. I mean, she was cute because she was like, "Oh, I'm your younger sister," and she's like, "This is what how younger sister's supposed to be like. I'm supposed to be a good sister." And I was like, "Oh, it's like a cute, like a cool little thing to do with like a little kid."
Yeah. And
afterwards, they go into a strip club, like transport. Like it sounds weird, but whole family, because they find out she finds out he's Shazam, and they transport to the like.
All the kids find out he's Shazam. Let's just put it.
But she finds out first, and then they go there.
Shazam.
Yes, yeah, and then at that point, that's where they all find out, and they're playing cherry pie. Like she's my cherry pie. She said, "Why are you covering my eyes?" And she said, "Oh fuck!" She's like, "I didn't see anything, but I know that it's some good music." Oh, I'll cut this up because because
and we can, what we can do is we can sample it.
Well, what I was gonna, I hated that, dude. I hated that. Like, oh, I'm young. I don't know what a strip club is, but I'm old enough to know what good music is. Yeah, I was like, oh, you see, and there's another part.
How did a young ass girl get in the strip club?
That's what I was saying. Like, you got to see the movie. They transport there because he has.
Hold on. Let's segue into a great.
I have one more thing I want to say though. Like, keep that segue in mind, please.
I will.
And there's another part where they have the sins altogether, and she hits one of the sins because they're holding on to her, and they're like, let go of them. Yeah. Okay. And she hits one of the sins, and the sins is like it's like it got hurt because she smacked it after it was holding her. I was like, are you serious? I hated that. It was just
that was like straight out of a Marvel movie.
No. It was like straight out of a Disney 1999.
Yes, it was one of those. It was like.
It was like,
it didn't work.
I'm a super sweet, innocent little person that...
Main character power.
They were trying to sell a character.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So what are we going to say? Keep that segue.
So, with that in mind, let's bring up the next thing that might have a negative or positive reaction for us. This can be cut up into its own little 5-minute, 10-minute review of Shazam, by the way. Just so you know. There's a part where, I don't remember what the technical... team name is, but Team Shazam, we'll call him, comes out, where each one of the foster siblings becomes a Shazam.
Wait, a separate one?
Yeah.
Like in the comics.
To fight.
How it was.
To fight.
Yeah, thank you.
The 7 deadly sins.
To fight, yes.
Okay, I just want to point out, they all became one.
Yes.
Not 7, there was 1.
Dude, I know.
That sounds like a Power Rangers movie, what you're saying.
Trust me. This moment in the film, I text Ben privately.
Oh my god, this is so bad.
And I was I was like, I don't know what.
Wait, so it was like a little girl Shazam, or was she like an older lady?
They're all they turn into adult Shazam.
They have the same personalities as when they're kids. So like the little
girl I was talking about, she had super fast speed, and she'd be like, she's Quicksilver pretty much.
They're basically They're basically all each a god. As to where Shazam is all the gods, they all had a certain
specific power.
Yes,
yeah.
And like they were
he
all
split his
whack.
Powers up against.
They were all whack. They were all whack. You know, it doesn't matter how.
Not
they
even like strength.
No,
he also broke the rules because I guess maybe not.
He doesn't change back when he says Shazam one of the times or something.
No.
And then also, there's a few scenes when he uses the Shazam to get out of situations, and you're like, oh, that was dope.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it flips, and he's in a mall, and he's getting in trouble by his big adopted sister. And it's like...
It's like, oh, little kid time.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like, you guys just made this...
The pace got fucked up.
When we check it out, it'll be, I guarantee you, we'll watch I'll say it again. The first 30 minutes is fucking incredible. The movie making that they did in that first 30 minutes, I literally was on the edge of my seat like, this is a comic book movie. I want to watch. It would be like if they made Web of Shadows, if they made the Secret Wars, if they made the Symbiote Wars.
Killing Joke.
It would be awesome. It'd be like if they made a good Dragon Ball Z movie. I was sitting there for 30 minutes like, this might go in a good direction.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have a moment where you're like, I can't say this movie's bad because I love the character Shazam from what they built from that first 30 minutes. I will watch a second one of this. In fact, I kind of want to watch a second one. But the next following like 50 minutes of the film is like my bipolar. It's like good, bad, good, bad, good, bad.
It's
how bad was it?
It was good. Okay.
Let's bring up the ender now.
Okay. Talking about the bad parts.
Okay.
How bad was it?
Let's bring up the ending and then we'll do that. So the ending. Remember I told you Josh was saying they're arguing about like, oh, like you weren't here for me, blah blah blah. Yeah. So he shows up as Shazam at his school, and then so he's sitting at the table by himself, the handicapped kid, his brother, and then they all show up, like all his family that all turned Shazams, show up at the table, and then Shazam himself shows up and he's like, this guy taught me everything I know about how to be a superhero. And he was like, oh, like, you know.
To the little kid.
And he's like, Shazam was like, I brought you somebody that you might not expect.
Because
and it's a little.
Flaked on him because he flaked.
It was also a foreshadow in the earlier that are like, because some bullies were like, oh, we're gonna have some super guy and fucking Superman sitting at the table with you, and they have Shazam sitting at the table with him, and he's like, I brought you somebody, and Superman shows up, but they cut off his head.
It's like this.
It only shows this part.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like this. Will look. It's like this.
So it's
what's hella funny though when it shows the little kid when it shows the little kid that shows her.
Yep. And they brighten out his face.
They don't show his face.
When it shows the little kid shows her though, he's like, ah! and then it ends right there.
Yeah, it's
You know, looks up like,
So
"Wah!"
wait,
Like,
so wait, the
Superman.
little handicapped kid doesn't get powers?
He does get powers,
Well,
but
it's
he
just
turns
with the
Asian.
powers of Shazam.
He turns Asian?
He turns like kind of Asian.
Does he? Is that him who turns Asian?
I think that's him. And then the bigger like I think he was white, but they call him Rodriguez or something. He turns Mexican. He's like a big fat white guy.
Oh yeah.
I was like, the white kid turned Mexican. What the hell?
Dude, this really sounds horrible. What you're
Okay.
describing sounds really bad.
I'll give credit.
So far.
30 minutes of the movie,
Yeah.
watch, and I guarantee you'll be like,
If-
where is this movie going? Now, you get to the last 50, 60 minutes of the movie, and it's like, or however long the movie is.
I don't think this has any planning to it.
I think it does. I think it does.
I think it does, but I don't think it has planning like what we're used to seeing Marvel
This
planning.
sounds like a kid's movie.
There you go. A lot of people, when they watch superhero movies, Marvel set a huge blueprint of this is gonna.
how
Yeah.
this should be done.
But
How
you
it
got
works.
you got to also remember when you watch Marvel movies, a lot of people have seen Iron Man 1, 2, 3, Thor 1, 2, 3.
All the
Captain
Hulks. Captain America.
Hulk came before all that stuff, or Hulk.
Yeah, oh yeah, true, yeah.
But for the record, yeah.
But you
Yeah,
got
canon, yeah.
Avengers, like a lot of these kids growing up right
Have a
now
lot of
already,
backstory.
yeah, they already have all that established. You know what I mean? They don't even have to watch to just be like, oh, this is something that, like my Legos, my fucking iPad games, all this stuff. They don't even have to really. They know.
Yeah.
And then when the parents, because the parents are probably our age now, you know what I mean? They're like trying to get their little kids to watch Avengers and
Watch
so-
stuff that they want to watch.
so it's so popular right now. It's already has all the backstory and everything, which with
Well, there's a lot
DC
of- yeah.
it doesn't have no backstory. And then when it did Justice League, it tried to
Fit it all in,
crunch
yeah.
everything. Yeah, it tried to fucking dwarf
That,
star it
and they
and just
also did
hack
they
it.
fucked up.
Doors.
They fucked up in that movie hella bad with like the story itself was just all
What-
over the place.
So do you think Shazam was a success or a failure?
it was a success in
What it was
DC's
trying to do?
in DC's
In
eyes.
DC.
For
with-
DC and superhero movies as it goes, it was a success. Because if you look at also,
What do you think? Like storytelling, action, or just like?
I was gonna say,
visually
how many
pleasing?
Shazams out of 10?
I would give it a 7 out of 10.
How many Shazams out of
7
10?
Shazams out of 10. Well, why I say that is because
Okay.
it captured the younger audience, which DC definitely
Never
needs.
does,
You
yeah.
know what
So
I
how
mean?
many Shazams out of 10? Dude?
7. I said
Said
7.
7?
Yeah.
And how many
Seven?
how many Shazams are there in the movie? 7?
No.
Enough to
Yeah,
like
there's
all the
7.
deadly
The 6.
sins,
The
right?
There's
6.
one
Yeah.
for each sin, I think
Yeah.
you're right.
Because
And
the
Shazam
wizard.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Good call, Will.
That's good
I haven't even
fucking
seen it.
job.
I knew the whole
Dude,
movie.
trust me, dude. There are great scenes in it.
But
The last of it is just
what we're
hard.
forgetting, already confirmed, Black Adam,
The
Dwayne
Rock.
The Rock Johnson.
Honestly,
Instagram Shnerdcast.
I hope that's great.
He plays a lot of he plays a lot of bad roles. He takes a lot of stuff, but with The Rock, he is really good when it comes to being a buff, big ass badass because
Yeah.
he was a WWE star, so he's really good
He
at
knows how to
flashing those
be
muscles.
Playing a star.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when it comes to other stuff like Jumanji, Central Intelligence, all that's like those weird movies,
I like Jumanji,
Rampage, Jumanji. I've never
Rampage
seen-
was horrible.
But you know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
plays those roles where it's like
Yeah. He tried to care too much.
it's all the
in
same
Rampage.
role, but with him being an evil supervillain, that's the perfect role for The Rock. I'm telling
He's
you.
not giving a fuck.
Because I mean, like The
I think
Rock
that
as
he's
a
a
villain
great-
in
I
Fast
think-
and the Furious.
I think he was great as
What?
I think he was great as a fucking funny guy. He always is.
Yeah.
The other guys was amazing. His little 15-minute
Yes, with Sam Jackson. Oh,
and
I
his
love
asshole
that.
personality in that movie was like, aim for the bushes. Yes, partner. And he runs and just misses the
Like-
bushes. He just misses the
There
bushes.
was no
Like,
bushes.
there was no bushes. He jumped into the street. Like, the fuck, you killed yourself for nothing. But, like, I'll be real, like, I can't wait. I wasn't excited when they first announced it, and then they announced him next to the
Go.
picture. Gonzo. They announced him next to the picture.
And he looks the same.
And it was just like...
Perfect.
Oh my god, if they trim his hair a little... Yeah, no-brainer. If they trim his hair...
He's like the only one with the build besides Batista.
If they trim his hair a little different, and I don't want to see Batista in that shit. I don't. Is he the one that's Drax? He's good as Drax.
Yeah.
I like him as
I was
Drax.
just saying he has kind of the same, similar, very stocky, big build.
I like him as Drax.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him as another hero. I don't. It's the same reason that I don't
want
to
see... Well,
see...
separate universe, though.
I don't want to see him as another hero. Or a villain. I don't want to...